Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris Don One. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Feel free, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell, share this live stream with your friends, family, as well as your followers. Let's get this channel lit in the YouTube algorithm because you guys are well aware YouTube know of me, but it really doesn't know me when it comes to the algorithm. You dig? All right. So we got another jam-packed review of King of the Hill. The new season of King of the Hill premiered August the 8th. And I've been watching these episodes in anticipation of I want that old thing back. I like it. I like the old King of the Hill. This new King of the Hill season 14. There's out of all the episodes, I feel like only one kind of reminisce me of back in the day of King of the Hill. It was kind of funny, interesting, but all the other ones are either mediocre or trash. All right, so we're gonna get into this. This one's called Peggy Fade Out. Okay, so here's the disclaimer. All right, Hank discovers Bill new co-workers think he's married, while Bobby discovers Connie's boyfriend may be cheating on her. Peggy struggles with her self-identity after getting rejected from a teaching position. All right. So, in a nutshell, if you haven't seen the episode, I will, lay some little details out for you. Uh, Basically, uh, Peggy is like in a in a retirement life crisis, life after retirement, and she's trying to get back into what she does best is teaching. She tried out for this position. Uh, she did not qualify because she just didn't have the education. Okay, she didn't have the degrees. All right, and that rejection kind of hurt Peggy because everyone else is doing something after retirement. Hank, from the previous episode, he's a handyman that occupies most of his day. Dale was an elected official while they were overseas. Boomhauer has a child, and he's also busy as well. Bill, you know, has a new job. Bobby is has a new business. Seems like his personal life is getting better. So, everybody around Peggy is leveling up except Peggy. And Peggy is not familiar of these waters. Okay. Meanwhile, on the other side of the pond, Bobby still has some feelings for Connie, and he's very protective of Connie. I think the last episode it came off like he really missed Connie, as a companion, like a friend. But it seemed like in this episode he wants a little bit more than friendship. He's still trying to pursue that avenue, but he knows Kane Osonason is now dating Connie, and he found out that uh, allegedly he's cheating on Connie. So he wants to tell Connie about it, and he did tell Connie about it. But Connie and Shane Osonason, they have this agreement in their relationship where they have an open relationship and they're free to see anybody as long as the partner choose the person, and she's okay with Shane messing around with this blonde girl because she, Shane agreed that this is the woman that he wants to mess around with. But it seems like it's one of those type of open type relationships where Shane reaps all the benefits, But Connie is looking at it as a business, trying to, you know, level up her education and level up her, business. She's looking at it as business, and Shane just looking at it as a booty call. All right, so she knows that if she, entertains this with Shane, this can, possibly open her to new positions. Paul, not those positions, but business and education businesses. So that's the reason why she agreed to this in the first place. Um, when Bobby hears it, Bobby's not feeling it. All right. Bobby feels like, okay, well, if this is what Connie wants, this is the type of lifestyle Connie wants, then I need to let Connie know that I'm into that stuff. Even though Bobby is really not into that, he's real old fashioned. And, everyone, including Connie, knows that. And Connie sort of just, blew it off, like, you're not that type of person. And she knew the rejection hurt Bobby. It really did hurt Bobby, and Bobby is still trying to take care of situations around the restaurant. They have a pest control problem. Dale is helping with this pest control problem. And during all of this chaos after hours at the restaurant, Bobby hears a sound outside. He charges out there thinking it's the rodents, but in actuality, there's this new character, this female, and they hit it off very fast, very quickly. And they have a lot of things in common. Like, you know, she tried college too. She felt like college is just not her. Just like Bobby. Bobby don't think college is for him. She's funny. Bobby's funny. Okay. So they hit it off very, very well. They got drinks. One thing leads to another. She slept over Bobby's house. Now, she was sleeping in the tub. They didn't show no scene where Bobby got intimate with the girl. And Connie came surprisingly to Bobby's apartment to sort of apologize for last night. The rejection. She said she sent apology cookies, which I'll tell you guys later on in the episode. Meanwhile, while we go back to the other side of the pond, you know, Peggy is still trying to adjust, of this new way, because if you've been a fan of King of the Hill, Peggy really didn't have no education as far as being a substitute teacher, other than she knew people. And no one was interested in substitute teaching, but Peggy did. But Peggy does it not for the money, but for the love of the kids. All right. Now, when you in these times, those opportunities are not they don't exist anymore. Okay, you have to have some type of experience. You have to have some type of education. Okay, and Peggy's having a hard time adjusting to that. Okay, and Peggy feels like her life is boring or meaningless. Okay, meanwhile, Hank swings over to Bill's job, and Bill's a barber and he's at this new barber shop. It's black people in there. I think it's kind of that scene is kind of funny. Because I have never seen Bill in a setting like this. And it's super funny because they introduce these new characters. And it seems like Bill has been telling them uh, uh, a fib. Okay, so basically, Bill, like in episode 1, remember, Bill was, Bill was packing on pounds. He was getting depressed. He was getting lonely because Hank and Peggy, they went overseas, and that just threw Bill in a tizzy. He was just in a weird space. Okay, so when he got this job and he was telling everybody about this weird space, he replaced him and said it was Hank. And he got Hank out of the depression and losing weight and things of that nature, when it was Hank that nurtured Bill back to being Bill. If you've been a fan of King of the Hill since season one, Hank has always, pulled Bill out of stressful life experience, bad life experiences, even with his ex-wife, uh, wives. So Hank is really the only one there for Bill. All right. Now he told another lie about him being Bill being married to Peggy. Which, if you're a fan of the King of the Hill, Bill he's very attractive. I mean, he has he likes Peggy. Okay, wishes that it was him and Peggy instead of Hank and Peggy. And he's got Peggy's pictures plastered all over the barbershop. Okay, so Hank, he was upset when he found out about all this stuff. And when they left the barbershop, Hank basically told Bill he would have to tell his coworkers the truth that Hank and Peggy is married, and Bill was the one that had depression issues and things of that nature. Um, and Bill is totally against it because he likes the sympathy that he's getting from his new coworkers. Okay, and he feels like his new coworkers, uh, are are okay with this. They accept Bill for this, and he feels like everyone feeling sorry for Bill. That's making him feel special around his new coworkers. All right. So when Hank go tell Peggy about it, Peggy is upset, but she's kind of interested on this new Peggy, because apparently this fake Peggy, okay, has a better life than the real life Peggy. Like, the fake Peggy goes on trips, goes around the world. She's into this, she's into that. She's into a lot of things that makes her exciting. And Peggy sees, hey, look, this fake persona, the black Peggy, is more interesting than the actual real Peggy. So she was kind of going along with it until, Bill got weird, and then it just woke Peggy out of this fantasy and into reality. And she basically told Bill the same thing. All right. So basically, to summarize that story, uh, Bill told everyone he didn't tell them the truth. He basically just said that Peggy, the fake Peggy, died, and he had a funeral. Everyone came to his house to just like when someone passes, everyone comes to your house. Uh, Hank finds out. He goes tell Peggy. Peggy is furious. She walks over there, and she was about to get into Bill, but she noticed that Bill, has friends. Bill, there's a lot of people that care about Bill, and she noticed that as long as he keeps up with this story, Bill's gonna be all right. You know, and then she walks away, but someone from the funeral sees Peggy walking across the street. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be an episode later on, maybe in this season or next season, whatever. All right. So then we fast forward to Connie, Bobby, and their dilemma. All right. So Connie came back, and they were talking about her situation with Shauna Song, and she's not really into him that way, and she's trying to give Bobby hints, but the new girl is, being an optimist to Bobby, and Bobby is excited because now he finally got someone that's very interested in him, and he's interested in this new girl as well. So Connie apologized for a couple of nights back, and she said that she sent him apology cookies, and basically they all ended up on the back porch, talking. The new girl, Bobby, and oh man, I keep forgetting that kid's name. Dale's kid, Dale's son, okay, and Connie, and everyone's having a good time except Connie. Connie is just lost for words. She feels like she's out of place. All right. And then they show to another scene where the apology cookies went to another apartment, and then the deliverer gives the apology cookies to some guy, and he walks away. The guy reads the note, and Connie wrote a note saying, "Dear Bobby, you're not a open relationship material, but you are husband material." And that is the first time Connie, particularly in this season, shows that she has interest in Bobby more than just being a friend. But Connie is too shy to tell, and that's most females. Most females are not going to really tell you how they feel. Okay, you're going to have to figure it out. And Connie really likes um, Bobby that way, but Bobby don't know this. Okay, but Bobby has feelings for Connie. It's like they both have feelings for one another, but they don't want to advance and go across the line and say, "Hey, look, I love you." And if one of them say that, then bam, they will be in a relationship right now. They would have been in a relationship. Okay, so you know, Bobby feels like his heart's gonna break if he tells Connie how he really feels. Connie feels like, Connie is looking at the situation she is with Shane Shaunason as someone. I mean, this relationship is going to help her career wise. She's not really in love with him. She's just pretty much using him. All right. So um, that's the end of that episode. What I thought about it. Okay. Here's what I thought about it. It started off very, very slow. This episode developed very, very slow. And we was like, I was like 10 minutes into this episode, and it started off so slow. I was about to shut it off, and I was going to get on a video and tell you guys I'm done watching King of the Hill. Okay. The writing, it was a slow burn, but it was good writing. It was good storytelling. They utilized the characters a lot better in this episode versus previous episodes. Okay. But another problem I have is, you know, the stories. I feel like these stories could have been individual episodes on their own. I feel like, we really didn't get Peggy, we really didn't get the whole story on Peggy trying to find something life outside of retirement. I'm pretty sure they're going to tell that story sometime this season or maybe next season. But they could have utilized this whole episode about, Peggy's trying to, find life outside of retirement. And if you felt like Peggy's story didn't deserve an episode, well, what about Dale? Dale has a new job. He works at this black barber shop. I feel like that could have been an episode all by themselves. They introduced new characters, and these characters are funny. These characters are really, really funny. It kind of reminds me of Coming to America. Remember the barbershop scene, Arsenio Hall and Eddie Murphy playing those multiple characters and stuff. That's the vibe I got from the barbershop. Okay. So I felt like that alone should have an episode to itself. All right. Um, Even with Dale and Hank going back and forth on whether or not he should tell the truth to his new friends. I felt like that deserved an episode by itself. But nevertheless, out of all this, it was an all right episode. The episode wasn't total trash. It wasn't a total wash. But to me, I felt like it developed too slowly, and they burned through these stories real fast, real quick. Okay. Another thing I'm having trouble with just King of the Hill, the season episode 14 is, to me, I don't understand why they just couldn't stick to the fundamentals of King of the Hill. You know, you really don't get a real story on why Bobby is done being a comedian or being entertaining, and now he's an owner of a Japanese restaurant. You really don't get no full development of that story. It would have been great if they would have made an episode, the first episode or the second episode, explaining why Bobby chose this dramatic change. Okay. And you got a brief explanation of Peggy and Hank when they are retired and they went overseas. It to me, it fully doesn't explain why Hank will make a decision like that. Because if you are a fan of the old King of the Hill episode, you know, I saw Hank being the manager at Strickland Propane. If Buck Strickland ever retires, or if Buck Strickland, passes away, he would have been a manager of Strickland. And two, Hank is not. He reminds you of one of those guys he's going to work forever. He's going to work forever until he can no longer work no more. So they didn't even explain that. And Peggy, she's a workaholic herself. She loves the kids. I just don't see how they would just, quickly give up what they've been happy doing for 13 straight years. All of a sudden, they just give it up, become retired. I mean, it's just a lot of stories. It's just a lot of things they could have explained in season 14. John Redcorn and Dale's wife, now they're pretty much doing YouTube videos about her real estate business. They don't even explain that fast. Okay. So it's, Bobby and Shane Sonarshaw's father, they didn't really have no relationship. They didn't, you saw them throughout the seasons, throughout all 13 seasons, but why did Bobby chose to, be a partner with them? Okay. So it's a lot of stuff, to me, that could have been explained better. That's just my point. All right. But, like I said, season 14, season 14, there's only one episode I liked, and it was 2 episodes ago. The other ones are okay, and the majority of them are trash. And it just seems like they're trying to go in a different dynamic. Okay. It seems like, it's okay. To me, it's okay for King of the Hill to just stay King of the Hill and allow these other outside nuances enter, their world and how they handle these outside things. Okay. So yeah, that's all I got. Guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna go back in the house. I'm gonna watch the other episode, and if I'm done watching it real fast, I will go back on live and we'll talk about that episode. But guys, it's your boy, the host with the most, that do not brag or boast. I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy, I'm Chris the Don One. I'm up out of here. I'm gone. Douche.